Sorry, I started laughing at the comments. Way too soon.
Aaron's coming in strong right off the bat. We're kicking off this show, and Aaron's already got the comment of the night. Like, just
Anyway, allow me to introduce this show properly. This is the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. We are very proud to be part of the Variety Sports Network. And just real quick note on those guys. They're doing an amazing job adding more and more stuff all the time. You can see some stuff. If you're watching the visual here, they've got some agreements now with different studio sponsors as well as some ticket agencies and stuff. So shout out to those guys. They're doing great. And of course, at this particular time, we originate from the Bradshaw Bourbon Studio. Salute, Brad, everybody. Thank you. And Chris just reminded me, did we tell Scarps about this? I don't think we did. We probably weren't supposed to say anything. It was probably supposed to be a surprise, but we said on the last show it would be a good idea to chip in and get you a Mason Rudolph jersey, Scarps. And we know you'd wear it proudly. I mean, so
thank you very much. Yeah.
I see. Well, it would be from that. It would be from that Chinese thing, with the like $25. DH gate, I think.
Yes.
Like that,
it's like an extra $5 you want to have it customized.
Right. You miss one show and everybody just talks trash. I see how it is.
It's the same. It's the way with everybody. Yeah. This one show, you're screwed.
Yeah. That's why I always chime in preemptively and tell you guys to fuck off.
I've missed you, Benjamin.
Yeah. 2 weeks without him. How have you survived? All right. Hey, the Steelers won their preseason opener 27-17 down at the friendly confines of Tampa Bay. And we'll get everybody's thoughts in just a second here. I just want to check out some of the comments here real quick. We've got some great people in as usual already. I'm not going to say all of them because I'll probably forget somebody, but hello and welcome back, everybody, and welcome to those of you that watch later at your own time, or those of you that listen. Thanks so much for doing so. We're going to have another great show tonight. And Freak just asked a question. Canada's play calling, is he being handcuffed? I think I know what he's referring to.
It's preseason.
Yeah,
it's going to be a vanilla scheme. It's not going to. Let's worry about that after week one.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Is that no offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator for that matter is going to show their hand with anything. Especially in the preseason. So I don't know. Ian, you look like you're going to say something funny in regards to Matt Canada.
No, I mean,
he sucks.
There's that. No, I was thinking, I was laughing to myself about when you mentioned vanilla, just because the defensive schemes were so vanilla. Like, they were literally playing the softest zone possible, and we're just like, we're not even going to really try and cover. Like, there were guys running wide open in the secondary, and they're just like, we're just playing cover 2. We're just going to drop back and try and tackle the catch. And, they weren't even, to say that they weren't trying on defense would be an insult to trying, because they were literally just like dropping back and like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there was a pass rush. Okay, so
there was a pass rush.
But I mean, aside from that, no, there was just nothing, and it was like, what the?
Yeah, and I think in Freak he kind of mentions this is not just preseason so far. I think let's watch Saturday night, because we're going to see the starters a little bit more. Buffalo allegedly is going to play some of their starters as well.
So wait, is Chris making the point that he thinks that Canada has been handcuffed to this point?
Well, Freak is asking that question
for 2 years. For two years, he's been handcuffed.
I'll let him answer that. I can't answer.
I can't buy into that. I think he just sucks, especially when you watch an 18-year veteran walk off the field throwing his fucking arms up like, what do you want me to do with this shit?
I cannot argue.
Mike Tomlin likes to use the phrase seeking comfort. And I think that if you feel that way about Matt Canada, you might be seeking comfort a little bit. And granted, he had a statue in Ben's final season. He had a hodgepodge of Kenny and Mitch last year. But, the one thing that is very, very important is that each game is determined by matchups, right? And I thought about this week, and it reminds me. Well, this doesn't remind me, but I thought of the 2011 game against the Patriots at home, where Ben threw the ball about 8,000 times, and they spread out the Patriots. And Mewelde Moore had a touchdown on that opening drive, and it was a long drive, a lot of pass plays, and they capped it off with a touchdown. They kept Brady off the field. Bruce Arians, say what you want about him. Yes, his offense was run and gun. It almost got Ben killed. But
Numerous
what the guy knew how to coach. I'm sorry, but I just don't have faith in Matt Canada. And I'm not, when you get a job and you're really not qualified for it, that's not necessarily your fault that you got the job. You either had a friend or a family member.
For that. It's called the Peter principle.
Kind of like me hosting this show.
It's so. I obviously want this team to be the best it can be, but I just don't think that they can be that on offense with Matt Canada as coordinator.
Well, we agree.
I tend to agree with both of you. I am also willing to let's let it play out a little bit into this season, just to confirm what we already think we know, and then it'll be done.
Well, I think this will be a fun year to watch this team. I think it'll be fun to see what they can do. They're going to be improved over last year. There's no question. The run game in particular. But I don't expect a real dynamic passing game. I don't. And that's a combination of the fact that, yes, Kenny is a young player. That's part of it. And the passing schemes just aren't very dynamic. They're not.
Well, I think the one thing I was thinking about this week, since Ryan mentioned thoughts bouncing around his head, was that, if they come out and, there's stats on one hand, but there's what you see, on the other hand, that even as a young player, Ben Roethlisberger was excellent when things got off script at extending plays, at, making things happen out of nothing. And I think that was one of the biggest knocks on Arians, was that it was like a schoolyard offense, that there was no scheme. It was basically, let's see what Ben can do after, and let's see what Ben can do with the ball. Versus, I think our complaint with Canada is that his offense lacks imagination, but at the same time, we might come out and put up 30 points the first week and 28 points the second week. But if it's all like from Kenny making plays out of structure and extending plays with his feet, then it's like, they're succeeding despite Matt Canada. It's not that his schemes are good. It's Kenny's taking that next step and is making plays outside of structure to help the offense succeed, which I don't know if that's going to happen week 1 or 2, but I would love to see that happening by the end of the year as, Kenny's growth continues. But that said, if they're just running plays and the plays are working, then the scheme is working too. So I think that's something to keep an eye out for as we get into the season is, is the offensive success coming within structure or outside of structure? Because that's a good sense for whether or not Canada's stuff is working.
So to the point about Canada, mentions of Kenny here, let's kind of do this. We've already had a couple comments about Rudolph and stuff too. If you go back to last week, Thursday night, or Friday night, I'm sorry. We know what Pickett did on his drive. We'll come back to that. Mitch did not look all that great. Rudy had a pretty awful beginning, but I'll be honest, he delivered some really tough throws. He had guys in his face. He hung
against
in.
third teamers, fourth teamers. Big
I understand that.
Deal.
Who was Kenny fucking Pickett playing against? Like, you're gonna blow
same
Pickett.
guys.
You're gonna blow Pickett for what he did, but not blow Mason.
I'm not blowing anybody.
Okay?
Let's just settle that right now.
Did not give Kenny Pickett any fucking accolades.
No, and we're gonna come back to Pickett.
Don't steal the whole Casey bit. All right, let's move on.
But I
all I'm saying is big fucking deal.
Yeah. It still takes some cojones to stand in there with even if it's a guy that's going to be working at Waffle House in 2 weeks.
Take cojones. He can't fucking move. The guy is standing in fucking concrete. He can't avoid the pass.
You must have missed
Mason Rudolph.
Third down at 15 yards for a first down.
He sucks donkey balls.
Yeah. At any rate, no. What I'm saying is, if you've got a 230-pound linebacker coming at you at full speed, you still have to stand in there and deliver.
In the NFL are fucking studs. Okay,
yes,
we can all acknowledge that. I was exaggerating. It was hyperbole. All right. But it still feels like Rudy cannot field the pass rush and he can't evade it. He steps into tackles, which absolutely drives me insane about him because both his parents were college track athletes. It's like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I agree with everything you're saying. But I think what the question was being asked earlier in the chat was, does he get a fair shake to compete for the number 2 job?
He should.
I don't think he will.
We've seen him for 6 years and he wasn't good.
Yeah. Ben, would you
Oh
agree?
my fucking God.
Ben, would you agree that he was better than Mitch Trubisky on Friday night?
Yes.
Okay. All right. But again, context, he was playing
against third and fourth teamers,
right?
The same
Waffle
guys.
House employees.
Yeah, I mean, and wasn't like Mitch was playing against great guys either. Mitch looked fucking awful. But it's one fucking preseason game.
Right.
And we've seen guys do this thing where they're high. They're studs at the beginning of camp, and then they come back to fucking earth. Yep. It happens every goddamn year. So I don't read too much into week 1 of the fucking preseason. And I've got 5 years, 5 and change, to look back at Mason Rudolph's career and go, yeah, no, that guy sucks.
And let's go back to Kenny Pickett's opening drive, therefore. The Buccaneers, I think, had 1 or 2 defensive starters playing. Everybody else was standing along the side.
This is going to be a long podcast already. I can tell.
That's what we're here for, Scarps. Keep it coming, baby.
You are the Bass Pro Shop.
Now, look,
chat?
regardless
is that a trucker hat, Scarps?
Breaker 19 looking for a Mason Rudolph jersey.
Nice.
Watch out, the bandit's coming up on your right. But
this thing is already going off the rails, and we haven't even really been drinking. This is wow. You can feel that the football season is it's almost here.
I know, and
that's what it is.
We just want to get through this horrible exhibition bullshit and just get down to the real thing.
Hey, even fake football is better than baseball.
Fake football is better than almost anything, quite frankly.
No, it's not better than real football.
What? No, I said almost anything. Almost. Kenny Pickett, 7 for 8.
Mm-hmm.
The one incompletion, he was pressured, flushed to the right, tried to dump it off, and it just didn't get there. Ian, what did you see from that? And again, I will say he wasn't playing against a starting defensive unit, be that as it may. Did you see anything in that drive that got you a little more excited from what you saw from last year?
George Pickens.
Yeah. He spread the ball around. You know, he used the middle of the field, not just on the touchdown to Pickens, but the pass to Freiermuth on 3rd down. I think converting multiple 3rd and longs was really encouraging. That even if you're playing against scrub backups, like we really struggled in those 3rd and long situations last year, and to see them come out and be able to convert multiple ones on the first drive of the preseason, I thought was pretty encouraging. And then the play to Pickens, I mean, he looked off the linebacker and then came back. It was almost like the touchdown against the Raiders last year. Yep. That, you know, he looked off to the one side, came back to the middle, and then we've been talking about it all offseason. I've been talking about it. They need to get yards after the catch, right? And yeah, so I thought,
Scarps.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck.
He just vanished.
Yeah. We started talking about Kenny, you know, the Mason conversation ended. So, okay. But yeah, no, I thought it was, you know, he was throwing with anticipation.
Yes.
He converted a couple long 3rd downs. And hit the touchdown to Pickens on another 3rd down play. So yeah, I mean, overall, it was a first preseason game. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be things to work on, but I thought it was an encouraging performance for one drive in the first preseason.
I always go back to this. What would the narrative be like if he would have gone, let's say, 3 for 6, they don't even kick a field goal? I mean, people would be out of their minds right now, pissed off, you know. So I'll take what he did, and I don't care who it was against. Scarps, what did you think of Mr. Kenny Pickett's opening drive?
Well, I'm glad to see that the first round quarterback can make NFL throws. NFL throws.
Okay.
No, I mean, you're right. If he sucked, people would have bitched. If he, hey, listen, I'm a hater. I'm just a hater, but I equated this week on Twitter to preseason game 3 in New Orleans in 2016, where the first team offense for the Steelers and first team defense for the Saints went at it, and Ben and AB and Jesse James and company.
That's right.
Up and down the field in the first 2 tries. It was just so
awesome.
smooth. It was, and I remember being like, damn, this offense is going to be good. Now, not the same, but I don't want to get so much hate mail, although send it to Steel Dad. But
that's our motto.
And I hope to see it more this week. The only thing I'm going to say about that drive is the running game didn't excite me. And I hope to see more running schemes. And I know it's still going to be vanilla, but I want to see some runs this week against the Bills.
Sharps wants the runs this week.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
The runs?
I need to lose a couple pounds. So, yes, bring on the runs.
Say.
But no, I will say this. I was a little surprised that they spread them out as much as they did on that first drive. I thought I would see more of the Matt Canada style. I'm sure he's waiting for the regular season to do the first down run, second down run, third down short of the sticks. But I was a little surprised that they threw the ball that much on the first drive. But the only thing I'm going to say is that throw to Pickens, it was really nice. But how many times during the regular season are you really going to get that opportunity, right? Where you're just going to have that opening. I don't know. So that's why I'm not making any judgments either way. We'll see what happens in a couple weeks here against the 49ers, because the 49ers defense is arguably the best in the league. And we'll see.
It'll be a completely different animal. That's for sure.
The 49ers defense is a really good unit. The thing that is still up in the air is who's going to play quarterback. And at this point, it kind of feels like it's going to be a low-scoring event. And when you factor in the fact that the Niners are going to have to travel across the country and that West Coast teams don't seem to play well on the East Coast and East Coast teams don't seem to play well on the West Coast, it gives the Steelers a little bit of an advantage because they also have a pretty good defense themselves.
What is that Burner said?
49ers will be about Bosa. Burner, how you doing this evening?
What happened to him?
Yeah, Burner, appreciate you. Nothing.
Wasn't he holding out for his
He's
contract?
holding out. He'll be
back. Okay. I was going to say, what did I see?
Isn't it a soft holdout? Isn't he there? He's just not performing or something?
I mean, Zach Martin just got paid.
Yeah, he got paid.
The 49ers the 49ers will figure out something like,
I mean, different positions, but yeah.
I am worried though. Not that it has, although it does actually have impact on the Steelers. Week 3 is Josh Jacobs for the Raiders, because I really do think that dude might not play football this year.
It's looking that way, isn't it?
Because he's the only running back that hasn't reported.
We need to have a discussion real quick, a sidebar discussion.
All right.
You'll see Aaron's comment is up here. For those of you on the audio version only, Aaron's son has a flag football game on September 10th at 1 p.m. That is exactly the same time that the Pittsburgh Steelers kick off in the season opener.
Fucking priorities.
Who in the hell schedules flag football on the opening Sunday?
That is pretty
people
fucked
from
up,
Ohio.
But I was just going to say, I would be willing to bet
the other day
people running this are Ohio State fans.
Yep.
Who don't want to miss the Buckeyes.
Ohio and Michigan are both armpit states, and
you don't see Michigan having
whatever
flag football at 1 o'clock
and fucking dipshits.
We get ours done at 8 a.m.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. Nobody watches the NFL. It's all about college football. Fuck that shit. Anyway, listen. Sundays in the fall.
20 minutes in, we're feeling it.
You don't do that.
Aaron,
it's
like having a wedding on a fall Saturday.
Aaron, respect for going to your kid's game anyway.
Absolutely.
Because you got to prioritize that shit.
Yes.
You have to, even though we're going to haze the fuck out of you for missing the Steelers.
And
I'm just
make
saying.
Sure you've got your phone tuned to the game. That's all we're saying. Anyway, so I think we're all on the same page as far as what took place last week, regards to the quarterbacks and everything, and Pickett and what he did. I saw a comment in here about Najee Harris. He had one touch last week, I believe. He caught a little swing pass, tried to make a move, and was taken down by Anthony Nelson, if I remember correctly, in company. And that was it. He did not
should have left him in longer.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at why even bother?
Yeah, it's like if you're just going to give him the one touch and then yank him, why even play him at all? Running backs take a little while to get going.
Well, especially him.
All of them.
Yeah, I just
all of them.
I mean, you're already seeing stuff about Jaylen Warren's going to overtake him at some point.
Oh, shut the
year.
Fuck up! It's one fucking week in the preseason. Right. God, people love to overreact.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, and it's one drive too. I mean, I think they really wanted to let Kenny throw the ball a lot to try and work. They ran the ball later in the game.
Let's be frank.
I'm not worried about it.
They did.
The guys they got lined up out there, especially the two guys they have at tackle right now, Dan Moore and Chuks Okorafor, pass blocking is not exactly their forte. Okay?
Yeah.
So that being the case, let's get him some reps. Let's get him. Let's get him some live action in the preseason. Let's do this. It isn't just about Kenny; it's about the whole offense.
For sure.
I will say though, and I sent this to you earlier this week on the chat, that I don't think that it's and maybe it's just maybe I want to be fair to Naj in the situation, but also he's not that great. He doesn't have that speed. He doesn't have that
doesn't have the burst.
He doesn't have the burst. And that's really cool that he does a stiff arm and but Derrick Henry has a stiff arm too, but Derrick Henry's a really fucking good running back. Naj is not at that level. And you invested a first round pick in him. He's had almost 700 touches in his first 2 years.
Right.
I mean, what else more are you going to get out of him? So
a 5-year contract, which is pretty much, if you recall,
not an extension, right?
When he was drafted.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they'll extend him.
Really?
Will they extend him for big money? No, they will not. I think that he's been pretty durable. He'll continue to be durable. I also think that he is probably peaking right about now and will be in decline.
Well, based on
I'm just saying, going forward, he's probably going to be in decline, and you do not pay running backs that are in decline. You just don't do that. You can pay him something. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, but you don't pay him 10, 12 million a year. You pay him $3 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and okay, so Le'Veon also didn't have long runs, right?
Right.
But Najee's yards per touch is 4.2 average. Le'Veon's yards per touch as a Steeler was 5.2 average. So Le'Veon averaged an extra yard per touch, and it's
Le'Veon was sudden. Le'Veon was sudden, and he could go from relaxed to top speed in a step and a half.
And Naj,
how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah, I just and listen, again, I'm a hater, but
you are. It's true.
Steelers Twitter is so into their feels, and they're so but he's such a nice player, and he went to Alabama, and it's just nobody gives a shit, right? Dude, Josh Jacobs went to Alabama, and they sucked ass last year, and he had the rushing title, so it doesn't matter. And that's the other thing about Jerome before that final year where he wasn't this, or the final 2 years.
No denying it.
Jerome was dominant, and he was dominant in a game where running was dominant.
You knew it was coming.
Yes. So Christ, man, this isn't even. Well, I mean, Matt Canada's coordinator, but it's not even a running. It's a passing league now, and nobody's afraid of Najee Harris.
Ian, let me ask Ian this: Do you think in maybe 5 or 10 years, maybe longer? I don't know, that we'll look back on the selection of Najee Harris as a first-round draft pick? Do you think there'll be a lot of regret for that pick?
I don't know. I mean,
and the guy after him.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think in the short term, there's gonna be a lot of comparisons this year between Travis Etienne and Najee Harris because Etienne went right after him. Etienne missed his rookie year with the knee injury, but I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of regret because Najee's still, to me, we may look back on Najee the way we look back on Terrell Edmonds, right? And be like, he wasn't the best, but he was always available. He played a lot of games for us. He got a lot of touches for us. He was here for his 5 years and went on his merry way. And, so is that the ideal first-round pick? I mean, we've talked on the show a lot that Lawrence Timmons was like the ideal first-round pick, right? He made like one Pro Bowl, but he was you want your
he was ideal first-round pick.
Started for 10 years. I mean,
he was a cornerstone player.
Yes,
he was
a
foundational type player.
You're not going to find Hall of Famers in the first round.
You want a Hall of Famer every fucking time, but you're not going to get that every time.
Right, exactly. Because there's one or two in every draft, maybe.
Right.
But
unless you're really lucky in 1974.
Okay. Yes. But I feel like I'm talking to my children and can't even finish a sentence here on the show. Love you too, Ben. But yeah, I think I don't think they'll regret it. The one other thing I was going to bring up though, because Scarps mentioned about Najee peaking, was that from my article on running backs a few weeks ago, that the data shows that running backs tend to peak around their age 25 season, and Najee will be 25 this year. So I think this probably will be the best he'll ever be this year.
I tend to think that honestly, Najee's already in decline because he got so many touches at Alabama. He's got so much mileage on him that it's tough to be that guy. One, it looked like he was gonna have burst when he came out from Alabama. It looked like he was going to be that guy who could run away from defenses a little bit, not like really long speed, but he was going to have burst. He was going to be more sudden than he is. And, after watching the guy for a couple of years, he's not that guy.
Well,
where Le'Veon, not only did he had burst, he also had side to side ability. Najee's more of a straight ahead power guy who every once in a while is going to run over somebody, and he's got nice hands. He's got really nice hands. So that is an asset. I'm not going to try and downplay that, especially in a passing league.
Right.
But, this is as a runner,
is it fair to say that maybe we're just getting ahead of ourselves a little bit because he had one touch last week?
Fuck you, Johnny.
It didn't go anywhere, I mean, so everybody's kind of like, oh boy.
No, because he's played he has 34 starts in this league. Like at that position, I mean, you got 2 full seasons under your belt, 34 games. Like, what is he going to do? What is he going to do what is he going to do differently that he hasn't done? And okay, he has a better line now. Okay, I give you that. He has a better line, but
which is going to help a lot.
You'd think
it'll help him. I think it might help him to the tune of almost an extra yard this year.
You'd think,
I really do.
Which would be big.
But if he's slow and indecisive, I don't know.
He's not slow and indecisive. People said that about Le'Veon Bell. He's not slow.
I never said that about Le'Veon Bell.
A lot of people did. They were like, "Oh yeah, he's just slow and indecisive." And
Najee's slow as hell. He is slow as hell.
He is not. He is not. He is.
He's medium.
He waits. He is decisive. He is waiting. He is patient. He tries to wait for the hole to open and then he goes. He's not in my opinion, he's not going to be a Hall of Fame type running back. He ain't that guy. Okay.
No.
But he's good. He just isn't, great. And
is he first round pick?
No.
Good?
No.
And I love when we agree, Ben.
It's about his position. It's not like he's a bad player. He's a good player, but you could have taken a really good offensive lineman there and then taken a running back in the 3rd round in that draft and done better. And it's about the big picture. And that's why we bitch about these things. And I'm going to stop here. We'll talk about it another time.
Let me stay on the offense. Just one more little segment here before we talk a little bit of defense. Ian, what
Calvin
did you
Austin? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask you, Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
A lot of snaps.
A lot of snaps.
Got a lot of snaps. What was your overall impression?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
He looked like a rookie playing in his first preseason game. That he is what we thought he is. He's a mauler in the run game. His pass game technique needs a lot of work, but he's a big dude. And big dudes with long arms are tough to go around. So there's that. But he's a rookie, and it was his first game. So he needs the reps. He needs the snaps. I'm not going to write him off because he had a couple bad plays. I'm not going to proclaim him a Hall of Famer because he had a couple good plays. So, it's good that he got the reps. Great that he didn't get hurt, and we'll keep going forward.
Jones had some pancake blocks as a running blocker.
Yes,
he did. I mean, and they were impressive. As a pass blocker, he's really not impressive.
No, the only comment I made is that I didn't think he was as far along as I hoped he would be in that area.
No, man.
That doesn't mean he's bad. It just means he's got work to do.
They drafted him for potential, and I get it. He's this huge kid, as Ian pointed out, with long arms. Have fun getting around that. But in terms of technique, I mean, he got away with just being the big, strong guy when he was in college and didn't give up any sacks because he was bigger and stronger than everybody else that he faced.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is in the NFL, you're going to face big, strong, really fast guys that are going to run around you.
Yep.
Good luck with that shit. Yeah. You got to work on your sets. You got to work on your technique. You got to work on your striking. There's a lot to learn. It's not as simple as just being, the guy who just, I'm a big, strong guy. I can do whatever. Nope.
Right. You could at Georgia, not anymore.
Yeah.
Scarps, what'd you think of him?
He's a rookie. First action. And I mean, check the tape. I said on the show many months ago that I would not be surprised if he didn't start.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think, I've heard good things about Dan Moore Jr. and I know he's had his struggles too, but I don't understand, iron, Tim Tebow, iron sharpens iron, but I don't know why fans get so pissed. Iron City gives me the runs. So I don't know. I don't know why
just
fans
gives me a fucking headache and it doesn't taste very good. So
I don't know why fans get so pissed off about why Broderick Jones isn't gonna start, or maybe he still might start. I don't know what's gonna happen, but fans are first round pick. Who gives a shit? Dan Moore Jr. being better than him is actually a good thing. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing because.
So you're saying that having players in camp challenge one another is actually a good thing?
Yes. I mean,
really?
So when Mike Tomlin is always competition's a good thing, that means something, right? That means something. So, I don't know why people were shitting on Dan Moore. Would you rather have somebody in there that's, is in his third year
Third
year
Mhm.
in the league, that is seen action in 30 plus games, is polishing or is polished, is perfecting his craft, or would you rather see a rookie that Ben, as you said, and Ian, as you said, relies on just his brute strength, because that's the shit that you get away with at Georgia, but you're not going to get away with it against the 49ers or Browns or Raiders or Texans, because even the Texans, as shitty as they are, well, those guys that make the roster are legit. So, I don't know why people are shitting on Dan Moore, when, Dan Moore's actually stopped Myles Garrett more often than not when they've squared up against one another. Myles Garrett's a pretty good football player.
When Myles was injured, he did very well versus him. When Myles was 100%, no.
Oh, so you're saying Myles Garrett's a good player?
I'm saying that Myles is a very, very good player, and that Dan Moore is not. But he's not.
Dan Moore's better. Dan Moore's better than that other guy from Western.
Jukes, and that's kind of, I mean, like the best thing that could
Jukes
come.
had a rough game.
He had a horrible game. The best thing that could come from this season, in my opinion, and Ian and I have gone back and forth about this, but I think we pretty much agree, is that if they gain enough confidence in Dan Moore to believe that he could move to the right and play both positions, and then moved him and cut Chooks, that would be a good thing. But I don't know, because typically that guy on the right side can run block better than Dan Moore can. So we'll see.
So today was the final day at training camp in Latrobe, and I think this is something we have been talking about, and something Ben just mentioned, is that they did flip Dan Moore over to the right side again. They've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, done a bunch of times.
Jones came in and played at the left, and of course that automatically led to massive speculation that that's what's going to happen, which is wrong. Let it happen. If it's going to happen, just allow it to get there. Don't force it. But
and remember too that in the preseason they'll work on things for, like, what if there's an injury, right? So if Chooks gets injured,
great point.
The plan might be, okay, Dan Moore, we're moving you over to the right, and Broderick, we're going to play you at left. So they'll try things in practice because it's practice, and they'll be like, well, let's see if this guy's not available, how would we align things? Okay, let's see if this works. Let's try it and see. Okay, that works. Then that's our plan. Okay, that doesn't work. Then we need a different plan.
I was not overly impressed with LaRaven Clark either.
No.
Wow, he had a rough go.
No, he was not good. He was like bad.
He was like the slowest guy off the snap every play, and that terrifies me as a tackle.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, I cannot.
You know who actually kind of does impress me, but I mean, I'm sorry to go off topic here, but they've got a handful of guys on the defensive line that are going to get cut that are NFL players.
Well, let's talk defense.
Aaron Watts.
Can I talk about Calvin Austin for a second?
Oh,
yes,
Armon Watts. Armon Watts.
Yeah.
Arm.
Yeah. So I know we joke about the jet sweeps and stuff,
right?
But Calvin Austin was not just the Steelers' leading rusher; he was the leading rusher in the entire game. Which
Did you look at the blocking on those?
Yes, but it was pretty good blocking. They had one.
The blocking was outstanding. They had Broderick and they had Darnell Washington and Zach Gentry out there. Yeah, Zach Gentry getting pancake blocks.
Yeah, if you can't get yards behind that group there, you've got a problem.
Yeah. But nevertheless, it was good to see Calvin get some touches. It was good to see him, get the long touchdown pass, which was a really nice throw from Mason. Credit where it's due.
I thought Kenny threw that.
No, it definitely was Kenny. You're right.
Yeah. At any rate,
did you know he was a first round pick and he went to Pitt?
It was nice to see. It was nice to see Calvin, after missing a year from injury, come in and do some things that we thought he was capable of doing. Actually, do him on the field. So yes,
I'm with you. It was great to see, and he remains healthy too. So knock on wood. Defensive.
Sorry. One last thing.
Yeah.
Two guys we talked about last week that did not look very good were Hakeem Butler and Cody White. So I know we had both said last week that those were guys,
I mean, Cody White, I was kind of surprised because it is week 1 in the preseason, and that's kind of always when he's like the darling of the camp set. He's like, oh my God, look at Cody White. This is his year. He's so good. Yeah, no, let's wait for the end of camp before we decide that. We've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that this time week 1 he was awful.
Right. And as you mentioned, Ian Butler wasn't real great either.
No. But following up, because last week we talked about, who are guys you're watching, who guys you're looking for. Those names came up, so I figured it was worth mentioning them too. All right, defense.
Defense.
Armon Watts.
Kendrick Green sucked too, but we all knew that was coming. Okay.
Really? You were shocked by that, weren't you?
Again, I purposely moved to defense because I didn't want to talk about him.
Okay,
yeah.
Armon Watts looked good. Ben's right. They've got some Loudermilk look good. Watts look good.
Dude, Loudermilk looks like fantastic. A fucking stud. They've got guys. Good. They've got the guys along the defensive line where I'm like, wow, this guy is not making the team and he's fucking good.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Benton looked good. Herbig looked good.
Yeah.
Herbig had a sack against a starting tackle. It's not like he beat a third stringer. He beat.
He has 2 sacks.
Well,
he
he had
was
1.5. They got, but the one he beat Goodake or Goodike.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you say his name. He's their starting tackle.
Yeah.
So good for him. And there was a lot of nice things to look at.
Herbig is pretty much what we thought when they drafted him, a good pass rusher who is going to need to work on his ability to set the edge.
I'll admit he's better than I thought he would be. I will. Me personally. I did not.
I think he's progressed quite a bit by working with TJ specifically because they both went to Wisconsin. TJ worked with him a little bit at Wisconsin while he was there visiting, and then he worked with him again at the combine, and he's been working with him again in camp, just showing him handwork.
They were today. They were the last 2 off the field at Latrobe today. They were still working on some moves.
Just showing him handwork and how to beat that, and you're learning shit like that from an all-pro who definitely has potential to be a Hall of Famer. It might give you a little bit of an edge.
I would hope. I would hope. Yeah.
Herbig also has a little bit of that relentless motor that is TJ's calling card coming out too.
Yeah.
That he just doesn't stop, and that's nice to see.
He needs a season of playing in the NFL to gain a little experience. Then he needs a whole off season of heavy squatting and lots of food. I'm serious.
That sounds like my off season.
I'm so fucking serious. He like heavy squats and fucking power cleans and deads just to put some weight on, just so he can set the edge. And when all that shit comes together, he could be a really good 4th round pick.
I think
like an Ike Taylor value, like that kind of good for a 4th round pick.
If he gets that kind of value, that would be amazing.
Would that be fucking? I would. So happy.
I mean, outstanding.
And I didn't love the pick at all at the time. And right now I'm like
I didn't
optimistic about it. I'm super optimistic.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. I like the arrow. I like the direction.
Obviously he has his drawbacks, but he has some huge upside in some other areas.
Scarps, if I asked you right now, based on what you saw Friday, what would you say about the inside linebackers? I mean, who do you want to see getting the majority of the snaps there?
Oh, here we go.
Fucking Quan Alexander needs to be playing 110% of the defensive snaps.
Fucking need a beer.
So here's what I do want to bring up about the defense that is not scaring me, but my antenna is up. Pun intended.
SCB after dark. Okay.
And it's the health. It's the health of players.
No question.
Quan Alexander has shown that he is I'm going to steal this from Mike Tomlin. Quan Alexander has shown that he is a high motor, perennial all Pro Bowl kind of player when healthy. And when he's healthy. Also an inside linebacker. I appreciate Cole Holcomb and his mullet, but like I'm an Landon Roberts guy. And there's nothing wrong with depth.
No.
But getting back to the health point, we just talked about the defensive line, and I'm a little nervous about Larry Ogunjobi. He has some foot issues,
as you should be.
And as I'm not speculating. I don't know shit. But I do know foot issues could be.
They linger.
Yes, they linger, and they could be detrimental to playing time. And I joke about this on the show. I've joked about this many times about I don't need no practice, Mr. Larry Ogunjobi. But but when you got a bad foot, I don't know. So we'll see. So I think this defense could be a really good group, but I think health is a big issue. And the guys that I'm banking on right now, Quan Alexander has had health issues. Larry Ogunjobi has had health issues. TJ obviously missed last year. Cam he missed that one season with a pec injury, but Cam is sort of the Iron Man, and so is Minka. I mean, Minka played right after that appendectomy, but like any team, you need to be healthy, and I'm a little bit concerned about Larry, and then obviously Quan if
Absolutely.
history shows.
You have every right to be concerned about those guys. I am too.
Yes, Aaron. I think they keep 5 inside linebackers.
So Ben, that would mean Roberts, Holcomb, Alexander, Robinson, and would that be the Muse?
Muse, yeah.
For teams.
Yeah. Well, okay, wait a minute. It's either going to be Muse or how do you say his name?
Kwiatkowski?
He had a shoulder injury. He's
does
on
he?
IR, isn't he?
In the tub?
Yeah.
I don't
Did
know
he
if he went
separate his
IR.
shoulder?
Not on IR, is he?
I didn't think so.
Did he get cut?
I didn't. No,
if he's been waived, then if he's been waived,
then maybe they didn't waive him. But I thought he had a pretty bad shoulder injury from.
Okay.
that
Yeah, I
preseason,
think
the tub. All right.
went
Well,
out.
so
Yeah.
I thought one of those two would be competing for that last spot,
Okay.
and whoever plays well on special teams will be one of Danny Smith's guys.
So if they go 5 there, do you think they just go 4 at outside backer?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're going to keep Golden. They're
Yeah,
going to do that. And Herbig is making such a case for himself right now
Absolutely.
that they're not going to cut him and hopefully and risk him being claimed by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Do something dumb like they did with Roche, who actually contributed on the Giants his rookie year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you guys this question. When
Mark
Steelers,
Robinson in run defense is
he's a freaking
like,
missile.
yeah,
Man.
yeah.
It's hard to say that guy is not going to make the goddamn team. So it's like
Mark Robinson is like that SpongeBob meme where it's like in pass defense he's like the little tiny guy, and then in run defense he's like the giant
Anchor arms.
fucking dude. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Like
I know a lot about
the 3rd
SpongeBob.
and
Don't
1.
ask me why.
He stopped the 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 back to back after like giving up a play in pass defense, which they really weren't trying in pass defense, but still like seeing Mark Robinson drop back 15 yards in pass coverage, I'm just like, that's not the best place for him.
No.
So, but
yeah,
damn, is he good in run defense?
He's going to hurt people in the run game. There's no 2 ways about that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this question. I get the feeling that if they, in the perfect world, Terrell Austin / Mike Tomlin would really, really like to have Joey Porter Jr. start. And then you got Levi Wallace on the other side. And then you can take Patrick Peterson and play him in the slot. Is that accurate? Or do you guys think they'd rather have Peterson on the outside?
Yeah, I think
we lost Ben.
We lost Ben. I think in a perfect world, it's Peterson and Wallace start. JPJ comes in on 3rd down. Peterson slides inside, and JPJ plays outside. I think your perfect world scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, and much like Broderick Jones, like just because you don't start right away doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And I know there's a lot of young Steelers fans that don't remember when you literally had to wait a year or maybe 2 years before you even started.
Right.
So like Joey Porter Jr. not starting is not a bad thing. He's young, he's raw. I mean, the dude only had 1 interception in college. Like that. No. Sunshine Steelers Twitter will be like, that's because he never threw his way. But like there's something like. Yes, Ian, you're right. JPJ is going to be the guy that comes in, and
I just want you guys to know that you two are a terrible influence on Scarps. He says a lot of shit that we've been saying for years that is really bad. It's all because of you guys. I'm nice. I'm the nice one here.
Fuck.
I'm total optimist.
Shit. You would totally agree that you used to have to wait to start to play for the Steelers.
Jackass. Those two know what I'm saying. You don't. Anyway.
Okay. I see. I'm not part of the inside joke. Okay.
I don't even know that I'm part of the inside joke. So
I'm just saying that right now, Scarps kind of sounds a lot like Chris.
Look at that. I love that one.
What the hell is Chris?
Robinson is Bruce Banner on the pass and Hulk on the run.
Yes.
That's a
My
great-
Chris
that's a
Robinson. Chris
fantastic.
Robinson from the Black Crows. I could live with that. You know.
Shake your money maker.
Yes.
All right.
Aaron, real quick, mentioned that Kwiatkowski did individual drills yesterday, so
Okay.
he can't be too bad off, but
Okay.
don't know.
He did hurt his shoulder in that.
Yeah,
opener,
yeah,
in that
I knew he
PT.
did, Ian. But I had not heard anything since last week in terms of the
Yeah.
severity of it. The reason I asked that question is because, you know, if you have Pat Pete at one outside corner and then you got Levi Wallace, you know, does that give you Chandon Sullivan on the nickel? And we know that combination last year in Minnesota wasn't that great. They were one of the worst pass defenses in the league.
Schematically, they were horrible. Though,
Context
too.
needed. Their pass rush sucked.
But it wasn't just about the pass rush. Schematically, they were terrible. They were trying to run. They were trying to run man, a lot of man,
right,
and some combo schemes with a shitty pass rush in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work. You're trying to run a coverage defense. That doesn't work unless your pass rush can actually land.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I don't think they want JPJ to start this year. I think they drafted him bearing in mind that he was going to be a kid who needed a little bit of time, and they want him to develop and become a good player. He will play significant snaps this season. They brought in Pat Pete to kind of be a mentor. So I'm good with that. I don't know about you guys.
And he has been. I mean, it's been constant one-on-one conversation with those two throughout training camp. Yep.
He wanted to play in Pittsburgh last year. He's on the record, but it just didn't happen. It didn't work out. And so basically, Peterson is going to be the Cam Sutton last year. He's going to be a guy who starts, plays all the snaps, plays kind of all over the field. They're going to let him. Don't shake your head. Why are you shaking your head at Aaron?
Because Aaron's talking about his Chandon Sullivan character on Madden having a pick six. Yeah.
Oh, hey,
and I was
Aaron,
shaking my head.
Just so we're clear, Madden is not real life.
The ratings are.
And you know,
neither is WWE.
If you're an excellent,
hold on a minute.
That's true, Aaron. Aaron, that's why you think Madden is real life, because you're a huge wrestling fan.
Listen.
But back to my point, if you're an outstanding GM in Madden, that doesn't mean you'd actually be a good GM in real life. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the point. They want Pat Pete to play the role he's playing now. He's going to play all the snaps. He's going to play safety, nickel. He's going to play some outside corner. He's going to do everything. He's going to be the guy. That is the guy this year in the defensive backfield who's going to kind of be the leader of the clubhouse, which I don't want to say that he diminishes anything Minka does. Minka's still the quarterback back there, but
yeah,
Pat Pete's the leader.
Well, it's like when, I mean, think about the offense for so long, right? When you had Roethlisberger was the leader, but you had all those veteran guys older than him on the offensive line that were really the leaders of the offense,
right.
Or even, you had your Hines Wards or your Jerome Bettises or whoever, Ben was the guy, but you had these veterans that had the gravitas and the presence that were respected in the room.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Anything else on the defense you guys noticed last week? You want to discuss?
I think Ryan hit it on the head with Quan Alexander. I mean, that's just,
I mean, if Alexander can stay healthy, I mean, he's the best linebacker they have. If he can stay healthy. The problem is the guy plays 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he ain't going to stay healthy.
Did you guys think his hit was legit? The flag?
No.
Yeah. No, I thought it was fine. You seriously had a problem with that?
You got to get your head up.
All right.
I mean, if he hits him face mask into the chest, I think he's much less likely. Not saying he won't get it, but
he hit him in the chest. He didn't hit him in the fucking chin.
No, I agree.
I think there was, floating around on Twitter, there was a bunch of flags that happened at a bunch of preseason games so far for stupid hits of the same nature that I don't know if those things draw flags in the regular season, but they might be like trying to make a point in the preseason of like, hey, we're watching for you guys lowering your head, so we're gonna
and they do it every year, Ian.
Yeah.
You're right.
And then regular season, by week 4, they're not throwing those flags anymore. They might throw them week 1 or 2, but by week 4, they're not throwing those flags.
I called it unnecessary tackling.
That's right. He did call it that, didn't he? We've got unnecessary tackling.
I mean, it was a preseason game. Just to put it in proper context, Scarps is right. It's preseason.
Yeah.
Unnecessary tackling that's fair. Or as my friend Dan likes to put it, illegal shit, 10-yard penalty. We don't know what that was, but we're throwing a flag anyway.
We're just gonna throw a flag.
And I think it was a bad call, but they're obvious. They've changed the rules, right? Like they've made an emphasis on this thing, and in my opinion, and Aaron, I'm going to come back to you, my friend, because you are a WWE fan. If Quan Alexander spears that guy, kind of like Edge, the rated R superstar, okay, I think he doesn't get a penalty on that. But I think anytime you lower your head, whether you hit him in the helmet or the chest or whatever, they're likely going to call it. And that's just the way it is now.
Okay, going back like 6 years now.
No.
Is this because of what happened to Ryan Shazier? Are they just like aggressively officiating that because we had a guy who wouldn't lift his fucking head and got paralyzed?
I would be lying if I said I did not think of that immediately. When I saw the replay, that's exactly what I thought of.
We talked about that before Ryan got hurt.
Yep.
We were concerned. And when it finally fucking happened, we were like, what the hell?
Yep.
What is going on?
We talked about it.
Fuck.
Yep.
And I have to wonder, and I'm okay with it if that's what their intention is, honestly.
Right.
If their intention is not to just throw flags, but to go specifically, we want to see defenders not have neck injuries. I'm all right with it. I'm all right with that.
And if he wraps him up or he keeps his head up and just runs right at him like parallel, I don't think they call it. But I don't know, man. It's a bang bang play. I don't fucking know. They're never gonna get that shit right. They're never gonna get that shit right.
And to Freak's point, the concussion stuff, it's so fascinating to me how other sports are handling this now. I mean, there was a soccer game, the Premier League soccer game this past weekend. Within the first 3 minutes, these two guys go up for ball. They bang heads. They're both down on the ground, writhing in pain. And instead of being pulled off for concussion protocols, they're basically like, hey, you okay? Yeah, good. Go back in. So the one guy actually scores about 2 minutes later. He has no idea where he is. None. The guys on his team are calling the trainers over, and the coach pulled him out. The manager of the team actually said, you got to get out. You don't know what's going on. Thanks for scoring the goal. But in the NFL, no fucking way. It doesn't happen. The coach doesn't have a choice. The medical people just say, nope, you're gone. You're out. And it's just so fascinating to me
Steelers
how differently they're
Steelers
doing.
Freak is in the chat right now, is on fire. And he brings up a good point.
He frequently is on fire.
He is.
And I, and when I was growing up, and I'm an old fossil now, but when I was growing up, it was always football, not with your foot. And now, I hear it all the time from moms. I hear it from the missus.
How many moms you talking to?
Before I met Jess, but no.
Good cover. Good cover.
The point is, we have, we're like we're one of the last people in our friend group to have a kid, and their kids are 4 or 5-ish, and they're like, my kid's never playing football, and that's a drastic change from where it was when I was growing up, because you play football, like that's what you do. And so I think the NFL, the Steelers Freak pointed out, I think that the NFL is trying to save face and saying, and trying to say, hey, we're taking this game seriously. We're going to make this safer. We're going to teach the proper technique. We're going to teach proper tackling, blah, blah, blah. And
which
those
is great. I'm glad they finally fucking are.
That's going to take time, though, to get
the rubber. And I guess
it's going to take a whole generation.
Yes.
And like any set of data, like when do we actually tracking the numbers, et cetera?
Yep.
And they already said that like the great Gazoo helmets and these pads and helmets and whatnot, like the concussions are down by whatever percent and whatnot, but you're not gonna wear those fucking things in the game. Like you're
there's
not
no
like
way in hell those are
like
going on.
Derek Deese. You guys remember Derek Deese?
I do.
He played left tackle for the 49ers in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And he had this cushy extra layer of helmet on the outside, and it was just hard foam.
Who was the Buffalo Bill that did too?
Mark Kelso.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Yep.
And it was just that hard foam, that cushy foam, and it fit over the top of his helmet. And he stopped getting concussions as a result. And that's kind of where I see it going eventually.
It feels like that.
Is that they'll have these things on the outside of their helmets, and it won't be that fucking thing they have now.
Great Gazoo helmet. It really does look like that.
It does. It'll be similar to what Derek Deese and Kelso wore, decades ago.
Yeah, and I obviously I didn't want to get too far off on that, but it's an issue, and it's going to continue to be an issue.
Well, brain injuries are kind of important. They
slightly.
They matter.
But I think what's happening is you're seeing other sports are going to have their comeuppance, if you will. Like the NFL has. The NFL has faced down hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits, is still dealing with them. And I guarantee you it's going to be coming in other sports. Hockey, soccer over in Europe. It's going to be coming. They're going to say, hey,
it's already a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Soccer are concussions really an issue in soccer?
It's huge at the younger levels. In fact, they've pretty much gotten rid of heading the ball until you're, I think, 14 now.
Is it heading where you get the concussion, or is it like running into somebody's elbow or something?
It's more likely you're going to get a head-on-head collision going up for a ball. That's where it's more likely.
Oh,
but that doesn't mean
it don't feel good when you fucking smack the ball with the wrong part of your head. But no, you're right. Like you're going up for the ball,
right?
And
right.
It's unintentional touchness. However. What did I have?
Touchness.
Unnecessary tackling, unnintentional touchness.
Unnecessary tackling.
What are you drinking? Hey, the Bills.
Is Jerome Boger still an official? What's up?
What are you drinking?
Yeah, he is.
Huh?
Yeah. What are you drinking? Holy shit! What are we drinking tonight? I think we.
I got my Surge White Claws, man. I don't mess around, man.
White Claws again? Are you fucking shitting me?
You know what?
Hey, Johnny, you got a guy who's in your club with you drinking White Claws. Good for you, buddy.
Listen, it's 2023. I'm gonna drink whatever I want and not be judged. Ben.
Sounds like an Upper St. Clair drink.
Side, just like Johnny. Just like Johnny.
Fuck, I ain't got no money for Upper St. Clair.
And I am a huge fan of you guys acknowledging this side of your personalities. It's great. I'm drinking bourbon. And
it's 8%, Ben. I don't know if bourbon's 8%, but is White
Claw? Bourbon's a little more than 8%.
I've still got a Southern Tier. I've got
51%.
That one going right now.
Oh, I've got the Southern Tier IPA here.
Oh, very nice.
Every time I told these guys,
I said I was going light tonight, and I'm drinking a 7%.
And Scarps will appreciate this joke. Every time I see Southern Tier, I think of Neil Young. Every time. Every fucking time. So I'm drinking Ninkasi Total Domination IPA.
All right.
Which is some really good shit, but you guys can't buy that out there because
hey Johnny, I appreciate you. Johnny's in the chat right now, and I know Ben's always like, fuck you, Johnny, but Johnny and I are on the same page right now. And I did see that White Claw's got a little vodka soda, which I'm gonna venture into. I appreciate it, Johnny.
Put Bozik's comment back up there again. Because there's a story behind this. We're gonna.
I like all our everybody that engages is wonderful.
So Johnny broke his toe last week camping.
Yeah, so we saw on social media. Thanks for the visual.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny, for the painted toenails and the fucking long toes that could play the piano. How the fuck was that, dude? Why would you post that?
I don't.
Anyway,
I was
Fucking
disgusted.
Freddy Krueger's.
One of them was broken, and
I wouldn't open Twitter for a week.
Johnny gets all hopped up on fucking White Claws while he's out camping and kicks a tree and breaks his toe. I'm like, dude,
Fucking
how the
Freddy
fuck
Krueger,
do you do that?
Match striker.
How do you do that? What the fuck? Anyway, sorry,
Oh,
I
shit.
just needed to throw that out
I'm
there.
crying.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad we know the history because I was curious. Yeah.
Steelers freak. The old lady loves pumpkin beers, so I got my.
Oh God, and they're
Dude,
already.
I mean, honestly,
everywhere. It's so
like every
disgusting.
fall, I can drink like one of those, and then I'm
No.
like, okay, I'm done.
Oh God, we
None.
went to the beer
Zip.
distributor last weekend. It was a fucking whole thing, man. We got about 60 to 72 beers just in the fridge right now. It was wonderful.
All pumpkins, huh?
Hey, you know what? The lady likes what she likes. I
That's
respect
well,
that.
this is
You know.
good, my friend.
We are getting into the good season for beer, though. Fall and winter beers are the best.
Yeah, I agree.
beers.
I agree.
Fall and winter beers are the best beers. I agree.
Give me a Sam
Oh.
Adams winner.
Man,
Give
I
me
don't
any
know.
any
There's-
winter beer.
That was
Johnny
a
and
drunk
I,
accent. by the
Johnny
way.
and Bozick and I have been to an event here called Winter Drunk Fest many times.
Oh,
And it's actually not called that, but that's what we call it. And it's all winter beers. And you go to this event, and it's like you walk in, you pay them, I don't know, $30 or something, and they give you a mug and a bunch of chips, and you walk around, and you just sample all these winter beers, and you get fucking hammered in like 15 minutes. It seems
What's wrong with
like.
that?
so
And
you're
then-
saying there's
And then
not
you're still there for another 3 hours, just taking little samples of winter beers that are like, 9-10%. And it's amazing when you drink 72 samples, for some reason you get really, really drunk. I don't know why.
So, I mean, forgive me, but are you suggesting they won't have any icy light mango there?
They won't have that this year.
Yeah,
No.
that's a shame.
Maybe next year, but this
That's a
year
summer,
probably
spring,
not.
Summer beer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured that's
Yeah.
a shame.
I did try the icy light mixed with a Turner's tea, and it was. I'll say this: it was above the drinkable line.
above the
so-
drinkable line.
So if we're talking about like the Mendoza line for beer,
What?
right?
No, really? Was it like above the drinkable line? I mean, it sounds fucking horrible.
I refuse to buy it, but if it's somewhere and it's free, I'll drink it. But I refuse to
one of
buy
my
it.
buddies had some, and he was like, he had some in his fridge, and I was like, I'm just gonna try one of these just to see. And I
Well-
was like, I could see on a hot summer day after yard work being like,
Mm-hmm.
I could drink one of these, right? But at the same time, it's not something that I would go out and choose to drink. So the mango is definitely better. Which I had.
Let
one
me
of
ask
those
you
today
this:
on the
the
golf course.
Turner's Tea Icy Light.
Yes.
If you had to compare that to like just Budweiser, would you put the Budweiser above it or below it?
So I can't drink Budweiser because I threw up once after drinking a whole bunch of
Okay,
it.
so
So-
let's just
I
say
don't even.
let's go to Miller Lite. Miller Lite as a reference.
Ooh.
Miller Lite versus this Turner's Tea.
I think the Turner's tea is better. Miller Lite sucks.
Wow.
Miller Lite does not suck. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
I'm a
Light's
Miller Lite
fine.
guy there. Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
fine. Miller Lite's like it tastes like beer at least.
Yeah, I
quick
guess.
on
All
a-
right, Bud Light is terrible though. Can we at least agree?
It
on
is.
that?
Any,
And so
yes,
is Coors
oh,
Light.
atrocious. Yes,
But Miller Lite actually tastes like beer.
Even before,
Right.
even before the recent marketing.
Oh yeah, it's fucking
yes,
before that. I
way
mean,
before.
why-
Yes,
Way before. Yes.
I just want to be
Um,
clear.
it-
I just
It's-
I want to add.
I'd put it below Iron City, below regular Icy Light, below Icy Light Mango, but above Bud Light. So
So you're
there's
saying that
good
Icy
deal.
Light is better than Bud Light? But is it
Yes.
better
Oh,
than
yeah,
Miller
by
Lite?
far.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Wait, no.
Icy Light's better than Miller Lite.
Eh,
Oh Jesus!
I'm gonna say
Eh.
no. I'm gonna
I'm
call
gonna say
bullshit
no.
on this.
Yeah.
Sorry. Bud
All right,
Light
we-
tastes
we-
like
That
ass.
is not-
I sent this off the rails. I'm sorry.
No, real quick, two things. First of all, it was
Miller
High
High
we
Life now
do.
is delicious.
We
but-
go off the rails.
Milwaukee's Best was a big thing for
Oh,
Steel
yes,
Dad
it
in
was.
college.
Beast-
In college,
Beast was the,
The
you get
Beast.
a keg of that for like $30.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, what was
Oh,
your
yeah.
That shit.
what was your college beer?
yeah. Well,
Miller High
it
Life.
was the Beast or Natural Light.
Miller Lite and Natty Light.
Yeah, Natty.
High
Yeah.
Life. When I went to Allegheny, so at
Burner's
the
back.
beer distributor in Meadville, you could get a case of High Life bottles for $12.50, and so
I mean, that's just beautiful.
The
Yeah.
champagne of beers.
exactly.
I do want to share a non-alcoholic story real quick. So
Those
we take,
exist.
they do. We take Junior to college this week, and
Oh, he's drinking a lot. Don't you worry, Mark.
I don't even want to know about it.
He is.
And so we're leaving, and
It's fine.
and my wife had seen
He's
this.
preparing his liver for real life.
I'm sure he has been.
It's fine.
Lord knows he's been watching his
Fine.
father. So we find this little marketplace, and they had some pies and stuff, and so my wife we went in there, and so we're leaving, and she goes, "Wait a minute! Oh my God, they have it!" And she comes back out with 2 bottles of Turkey Hill lemonade. Yeah, and I said, "How do you know about Turkey Hill lemonade?" And she goes, "Oh well, we had it in Maryland when I was there on my last business trip." And I said, "Oh yeah, that's very big in the Berg, Turkey Hill." And so she was very excited to find that lemonade. But yeah, so that's a non-alcoholic story.
Yeah. See, I thought you were gonna drop like a Jenny Cream Ale reference or something.
Wow. Now I haven't had one of those in 35 years.
Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah.
Old English 500. Holy jeez,
Malt
weird.
liquor, nothing wrong with that.
My very first
Actually-
beer was a Carling's Black Label.
Yeah.
Which is
Actually
terrible.
the Jenny Cream Ales, if you can find them in a bottle, are not bad. The Jenny Cream Ales in a can taste like ass, but the Jenny Cream Ales in a bottle
tastes
Jenny
like
Craig?
shit anyway. No, Jenny Cream tastes
I
like
mean,
shit
it's
anyway.
Jenny Craig isn't
just,
much better. Yeah.
Like all those sweet,
I'll be back.
they're just gross. I'm not a fan. No.
Before
Jenny
this
Cream's gross.
gets totally off the rails,
before you're
I
late,
know.
dude.
we do have the Bills
This
coming
was
in.
not an overtime episode
No,
today,
it's
but
not.
it kind of
It's gonna
was.
turn into one.
You know what it is? We're all just fucking excited because we finally got some football.
Exactly. Josh Allen is scheduled to start. It sounds like they're going to play a lot of regulars. The Steelers, Mike
Red
Tomlin
Dog.
said it. Everybody
Aaron,
is healthy.
Aaron with a
playing.
Red Dog reference.
Red
Holy
Dog.
shit.
They don't still make that, do they? Red Dog?
I don't know.
In any case, Ian, what do you want to see from the offense this week, knowing that they'll see a little bit more starters on defense?
Yeah, I want to see
and offense.
Yeah, I want to see them move the ball consistently, convert third downs, put the ball in the end zone when they're in the red zone, and just
some simple improvement.
Continued good reps from everybody, right? Just it's preseason, they're working on stuff, but I just want to see, especially from like Broderick Jones, just get a little better from each week.
Because we all know that regardless of what happens, good or bad, it's going to be crazy town on social media.
Yes.
Which, again, that's why most people listen to this show, because you do get pragmatic and it's pretty straightforward opinions, especially of alcohol.
Listen to this show because we're dicks. Especially you guys, not me. But
right. Yeah.
All of you, not
if
me.
If we're dicks, what does that make you?
The nice guy on this show.
Jesus. Anyway, is Casey ready?
He's
Hang
available.
on, real quick. I just want to talk about this week. All I really want to see is improved communication. Communication was not really a great thing, even amongst the offensive line last week. It was not really impressive. I just want to see that improve. Moving on, Casey.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, after a 1-week hiatus, I'm going to turn it over to the late, great, but still with us, Casey Kasem.
We dug him up and propped him up, and he's doing a fucking podcast with us tonight.
You can't kill what's not dead. Or what is dead? Yeah.
Weekend at
Casey's
Bernie's.
Coast to Coast, American Top 40. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the week that was August 17th, 1989. Our favorite correspondent, Ryan, is once again back with us this week, sending his final wishes from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, as the Steelers wrap up training camp. Ryan writes, Dear Casey, full transparency, I haven't been feeling that well. I've had this annoying pain somewhere between my ribs and that area where the fudge is made. So earlier this week, I went to the doctor to get checked out. The doctor ran a few tests and came back into the room. I looked at the doc and said, "Doc, do I have that dog in me?" The doctor had no idea what the hell I was talking about. Not only do I not have that dog in me, he told me I need to stop eating gas station food long after a night of hard liquor. Not a good week at all for me, Casey. But I know a few folks that had a nice week. None greater than Kenny Pickett, Steelers' first-round pick of the 2022 NFL Draft out of the University of Pittsburgh. Casey, I'm not sure you know this, but the Steelers and Pitt share a facility. I mean, how could an NFL franchise foot the utility bill on its own? But back to the point here. When I think of the greatest artists of all time, there's Van Gogh, Da Vinci, Rembrandt, Monet, and Picasso. And I can safely say you need to add Pickett to this list. What he did against what he did against the 10th string Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense was absolute perfection. I have never seen a quarterback dissect a deaf, dumb, and blind defense quite like Pickett did. That throw to Pickens, I've never seen before in my life. It was such an NFL throw. Casey, I don't care that it was against the Little Sisters of the Poor. Hang it in the Louvre. Let's call it Sunshine, Rainbows, Lollipops, Cupcakes, Unicorn Sparkles, and Rip Van Winkle's Dirty Undies. Mason Rudolph also had a nice game against 15th stringers. I fully expected him to fold after Mini Fridge snapped the ball over his head and gave up about 100 sacks and pressures. For those of you that don't know who Mini Fridge is, it's Kendrick Green. Oh, you didn't know? He's going to be the next amazing fullback because he's so great at playing center. That guy sucks. Anyways, back to Mason. He had a nice deep ball touchdown to Austin. He had a 15-yard run for a first down in 2 minutes. If you're going to compliment Pickett on playing against the JV squad, then you should do the same for Mason. Mitch looked terrible. No wonder Deontay punched him right in the face. Could Mason really be QB2? Even if it doesn't work out, Mason, I'll be right here waiting. Well, Ryan, what a great segue into our number one song. For the second straight week, Richard Marx is at the top of the charts. Off his album Repeat Offender, here's Right Here Waiting.
Oh, fuck. That was a good one.
The off season is over and Ryan is back in football form.
That was good, Ryan.
Yeah, you might need to take a week off more often.
Jesus.
Whoa. Okay.
Appreciate y'all. Thank
I'm
you.
sweating. I was laughing so hard. That was fucked up.
I feel the same. Yeah. All right. And on that note, thank you once again to everybody joining us during the entire show. You guys are troopers of the highest order. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who listens or watches at your own time. Steelers will host the Bills this weekend. It's like a 6:30 game or something
weird
like that.
time.
Yeah, it's a weird time this week.
And next week they have a Thursday game, and we're going to be podcasting like right after the game ends. So how about that?
Absolutely, we will be spot on it, ladies and gentlemen. But as we wind down here, thanks everybody. Thank you to DEK Roofing. Thank you to Bradshaw Bourbon. Thanks to Variety Sports Network, and most of all, thanks to you guys. So, for the SCB crew, this is Steel Dad signing off on the SCB Steelers Podcast, presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And hey, go Steelers!
Ravens suck.